we didn't even think of that. We were what they called in those days a cooperative band. In other words, we got a fifth of all, everything that was earned each.
Well, that was good.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a story going around that you were a butcher at one time. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
You were? Okay.
My family had, by that time, had about 7 shops.
Wow.
One out at Basildon. They were out Basildon. That had a factory, a packing factory joined on.
Mm-hmm.
There was Basildon, East Ham, Barking, Leighton, a whole few other places, Essex ones. And, my dad, my brother, my cousins were all butchers, so I spent I spent, before we sort of got famous, I spent time in all of those shops.
Yeah?
Not full time, because most times I was at school.
So do you wish
or rehearsing with the band.
So do you wish you never took up music?
No. What? I used to get cold hands. I couldn't do that.
No, don't blame you. It was a stupid question. I had to ask it, really. No, but never mind.
It was good. I'll tell you what, though, the funny thing is, when I look back, I really had a lot of fun doing that. Because it was a family business, and my cousins, and I still see them all.
That's good, isn't it?
And there's still a few of those shops going.
Wow. Because, butchery sort of died out. The supermarkets have killed a lot of the butchers, I call the proper butcher shops out.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's a bit of a shame, actually.
Over the last sort of 3 or 4 years, they've started to just come back a little bit.
I live in a little village, and we have a butcher shop, and I go there regularly, and you buy the meat there, and it tastes so different than the stuff you buy in supermarkets. I was going to mention one by name there, but I thought best not, because I'll get in trouble.
That's right. It does taste different.
Yeah.
I go and we, as a family, buy our stuff always at a butcher's.
It's so much different. But then let's talk about the first chart entry you had was Twist and Shout, which was a cover of the Isley Brothers song.
Yeah.
And also covered with the Beatles, and that reached, what, number 4?
Yeah,
and you
that's
sold,
right.
What, million?
We went. Funny. I was looking at the charts the other day because I always say to people, well, we did it first in England. We did it first, and I looked at the charts the other day, and we were about number 5, and the Beatles weren't in the charts at all with Twist and Shout. And then 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, they'd gone up to number 4, but we went to number 3 after that. So it was a bit of a good time for us. And the Beatles, we had a good old fight up the chart.
But there was a lot of that going on. I mean, there was one week when there was a song called Night Had 1,000 Eyes, which I think was about 3 versions in the top 20 at the same time, which was... Yeah. It used to happen a lot then, didn't it? It doesn't happen quite so much now, does it?
No, it did. It used to happen all the time. And a lot of times people liked other versions of the hit record. You sort of heard them and thought, oh, I like that better.
Yeah.
And you'd go and buy that as well, which made it, again, a hit.
Yeah.
Good for the writer, of course.
Of course, yeah. Well, it sold 1 million. Your version sold 1 million on its own.
Yeah, it was our first million seller.
That can't be bad, can it?
Yeah.
I mean, to sell 1 million, not many bands now say 1 million copies, which is, because I think the singles market is dying a little bit on its backside, isn't it? But
yes, it's such a shame.
It is, actually. I miss... the thing that's coming back now is vinyl. I love vinyl.
Yeah.
As much as I love CDs and all the other business, I do love vinyl. I've got a huge vinyl collection.
Yeah, and they do sound different.
Oh, they sound so different. They've got I collect. I'm a bit of a sad man. I collect the sort of collectible vinyl. Yeah. And there's no such thing as a collectible CD because they're done by the millions.
Yeah, that's right.
And, so, well, moving on to September 1963, Do You Love Me went to number 1. And we mentioned the Beatles again. You knocked them off the top of the charts.
Other people's cough.
That must have been sweet, mustn't it?
We went to we were in Liverpool, and we were playing at a place in the evening called Litherland Town Hall, and there were other people on, like the Big Three, and a couple of other bands, and we went into Lime Street Station and bought a paper and looked in the paper, and the first thing we saw on the front page was Beatles toppled from top spot by Brian Poole and the Tremeloes.
Yeah.
And it was big deal. It was such a... Because the Beatles had been number one with She Loves You, and we'd taken the number one spot, we thought, oh dear, is this good or bad, you know?
Wow.
But it was fine. People liked our version for some reason. It was our version of Do You Love Me, that particular version was just done for the way that our fans sort of danced at the time. Okay. And it was what they wanted up in Liverpool. We'd spent a lot of our time up there. And people were great. They didn't care if we knocked the Beatles off. We were all, you know, all in the same boat as far as they were concerned. Yeah,
the old rock and roll scene was very big. I remember it. I was just born in the early 60s, and I remember affectionately my father, who actually lives not far from you, brought me up on rock and roll. So I remember all these songs. I mean the hits you had well, Here Comes My Baby, which we played a little while ago, Suddenly You Love Me, Silence Is Golden, Twist and Shout, and of course Do You Love Me, just to name a few. I mean, and Someone, you know, the popular ballad, but that made number 2 as well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. We really thought that was going to just reach the number 1 spot, but it just sold us. That was one of those records that didn't quite reach number 1, but I think it sold even more records than by being. It was in the charts for something like 20-something weeks. It was there for ages and ages.
Yeah.
In the charts. So, yeah, a nice old song for us. Someone. We're going to do it on the tour.
You are you?
And we're going to sort of make a thing of it, you know, and just say it's one of our favourites, you know.
I mean, you did some solo work, and then I saw you a few years ago with a band called Black Cat.
That great years.
It was. I mean, that's been what, late 80s, was it? Early 90s, late 80s.
Probably late 80s. I would say.
And I have the album, which we won't mention the title because it's rather rude. I have it on vinyl, and it's a great rocking album. It's basically covers Ghost Riders in the Sky is on it, I remember, and quite a few others. Great rocking songs, and they were great times. But now also you tour with another band as well.
Yeah, that's right. I had, at that time I had a couple of different bands. Seychelles, what was the other one? Can't even think of them, but Black Cat, of course, was mine.
They were fabulous. And now you have your own band now called Electric as well.
Yeah, oh yes, of course, I shouldn't forget Electrics.
No.
I had Electrics together, and they were part of Black Cat.
Yeah, so...
It was the rhythm section, if you like, out of Black Cat, without the sax and all the rock and roll stuff. The guitars out and the rhythm section out of Black Cat. And I had that band, Electrics, for, 20 years probably. Sometimes with the same guys in there as well. So some of them were with me from the Black Cat days right up until, over 20 years with me.
This is Seclo Sounds, and you can listen to us by clicking Listen Live on our homepage at seclosounds.org for a choice of players. Via TuneIn Radio at www.tunein.com, search for Seclo Sounds and listen online or download the TuneIn app. You can download the Seclo Sounds iPhone app from the iTunes App Store, and you can listen to us on demand at our replay page.
Woke up and the toilet was overflowing. Must call the plumber. Realised the kids needed swimming lessons as it's all got out of control. Luckily the old windows gave out, so we all floated outside. Must get on to the glazers. And now the garden looks atrocious. Now what was the number for that landscaper?
Because you never know when a potential customer needs you, get yourself listed in your local flyer, the local business directory. Your local flyer, bringing businesses to your fingertips.
inside to see someone, something to hug. Oh, don't it pain to see someone cry? Oh, especially when someone is hurt. Silence is golden, but my eyes still see. Silence is golden, golden, but my eyes still see. Talking is cheap, people follow like sheep, even though there is nowhere to go. How could she tell he deceived her so well? Really, she'll be the last one to know. Silence is golden, but my eyes still see. Silence is golden, golden, but my eyes still see. How many times did she fall for his lies? Should I tell her, or should I keep cool? And if I tried, I know she'll say I lied. Mind your business, don't hurt her, you fool. Silence is golden, but my eyes still see. Silence is golden, golden, but my eyes still see. But my eyes still see. But my eyes still see.
There we are, that's the Tremeloes and Silence is Golden. Let's welcome back to the show lead singer of the Tremeloes, none other than Brian Poole. Yeah, the other thing I've got to mention is about your recording project you did with stars of the 60s. You did with Reg Presley, Mike Pender, Tony Crane, and Clem Curtis. Now, he's another local boy.
Clem lives at Olney.
That's right. He was on the show. He was on the show about February time. Great guy.
Lovely.
He's a great guy. And you called yourself the corporation, or a lot of people called you the Travelling Wrinklies.
Yeah, somebody else gave us that name, but that's...
Oh, I like that.
It was the radio and TV people said, "Oh no, that's much better. Call you the Travelling Wrinklies."
I love that. I think that's it. I read that about you, and I thought, I can't believe that. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we did a video of that.
Oh, no.
So I only watched again just recently, and it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was a song called it's an old Showstoppers song.
It's called "It Ain't Nothing But a House Party."
Yeah, House Party. Nothing but a House Party. Yeah. And we did a video of that at one of the clubs in London.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it's great to see. It was a real rocking song as well. I couldn't believe how sort of, I don't know, it's like sort of up to date now, but it was even dated when we did it.
Yeah, it's good.
You know?
I mean, the other thing I've noticed you've written is a book called Talkback.
Yeah.
And a guide to English slang.
I'm glad you brought that up, because when you spend time in, like I did when I was a kid,